Now let's talk about the letter N. So this visual phonics gesture is our finger across our nose because it's a nasal sound, and sometimes you can even feel it a little bit in your nose. So we just do mm, mm. It's also very visual. They can see that your tongue is up there behind your front teeth. Mm, and that's how we would show them that sound. If your child is struggling with the N, but maybe they've got a good T sound, we could even use the word don't, because our tongue is up there for the D sound, the N sound, and the T sound. So it's a good word to work on to get all of those sounds all together, because that tongue doesn't really have to move very much at all. Another fun way to get this is to do the way old Batman theme song, the na 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 Batman. So we can get really silly with that, and that just keeps that tongue doing a pretty quick movement up there at that, what we call, it's the alveolar ridge, is that ridge of the roof of your mouth right behind your front teeth. That is where we want that tongue to be rubbing up against and making contact for our letter N. Let's move on to our letter T. So this is what we call our tapping sound. So when we do our visual phonics gesture, it's just a t, t, t. We're doing this with our finger to show our child that it is a quick movement, and it just taps right up there behind our teeth, the same as the N. So that's on what we call the alveolar ridge. And so it's it's not as visual as the N, because with the N, we can keep our mouth a little bit more open and still get the same sound. So T is also very fleeting. It is very quick. So they really have to be watching. Sometimes for the N and for the T, really for most of the letters that we've worked on so far, having a mirror handy is very helpful. I oftentimes suggest that parents work on these while they're brushing their teeth or washing hands, and everybody is looking in the mirror, washing their hands and watching what their mouth is doing. So that would be a great time to work on very specific speech sound elicitation. All right. Another thing that you can do is, if your child is putting in a D sound for the T, we can do that same skill of whispering to produce that. Not that you will always have them whisper, but just to get them into the pattern of, I can produce this sound correctly if I whisper it. The partner sound to T is D. And so the tongue is placed in the exact same spot. So it's right there behind your front teeth. The visual phonics gesture for T is the tapping, and the visual phonics symbol for D is the dotting. So we're going to do D, D, D. Again, your teeth are pretty close together, so it's not the easiest sound to see, but if you're using a mirror, you can certainly show your child that your tongue goes up, D. So you go up, and then you can bring your teeth back together to produce the sound. Just show them that that's where their tongue goes, and then you can bring those teeth back together to produce the sound. I have had some parents that have had some success with putting a little bit of frosting or some peanut butter, if your child doesn't have an allergy, something up there right behind those front teeth, so the child has kind of a sensation of where their tongue should go. We don't get to do that type of stuff at school, because then everybody would be on a sugar rush, and that's not necessarily the most helpful thing for concentration. But that would be something that you could do at home that we don't necessarily have ready access to at school for the letter D sound. So you might have noticed that some of our sounds kind of come in groups. The P, B, and M sound are all made in the same place. So those are kind of a family. And then the T, D, and N sound are also all made on that alveolar ridge. So they're kind of a family. So what you'll notice is that sometimes your child will be working on all three of those sounds together, because the error is their error is the same and the placement is the same. And so you can get pretty good bang for your buck if you start focusing on some of those, and it sometimes will just generalize right to the other sounds. A tip that I would give you is if you're just starting to work on these sounds with your kids, I would work on the M for the what we call bilabial, which means two lips. I would work on the M sound for the M, B, and P family simply because you can hold on to it. Lasts much longer than P. Okay, same thing for the N, T, and D family. I would start with the N because you can hold on to it and really model that for your child while they work to get their speech sound production tools into place in their mouth. Okay, so that would be another tip that I would give you for those speech sounds.